Welcome back to my channel, A Nourished Life and Home. I am Amanda. I am a homeschooling mom to 4 children. My oldest is 7, my youngest is almost 2, and we have another baby due very soon. So I am so excited to share with you today a little bit of our homeschool journey. With that, let's dive in. So today I'm going to be sharing about the practice of keeping a logbook as well as a mother's diary and how that helps me in our homeschool days and just meeting the different needs of my children. So let's start with a logbook. Here is my very fancy logbook. Be de-influenced. It doesn't have to be pretty. So this is just a notebook that I keep with me during our homeschool day. It's where I write down the things that we've done, the things that we didn't get to, as well as attitudes and just things that I notice throughout the school day. This helps me when I take a time of reflection at midterm or the end of the term to see maybe what needs adjusting. Even in my weekly planning, maybe I need to switch around a few subjects. Maybe my child is really tired after a certain reading, and so we need to work a different part of their body or their brain. This is very helpful for that. I have tried fancy logbooks. I've tried purchasing different layouts and things like that. And what I have found the most helpful for me is to just very simple, put the date at the top. I do kind of like our block schedule. I'll put our morning time in, our table time, our afternoon occupations, our nap time, what we did during that time block, how it went, anything we didn't get to, things that we can adjust for next time, etc. So I just do a page or a half a page for each day. And then it's also great for record keeping if you live in a state where you need to keep pretty tight records. You can see exactly if you have to calculate attendance and all of that, which we do not in our state, but you can do that easily with a logbook. So I just keep it simple, plain notebook, make notes, and that has been incredibly helpful. So likewise with the logbook, these both of these tools help cultivate what Charlotte Mason would call a mother's thinking love. So developing a mother's thinking love is just looking at your children each as individual people, their individual makeup and needs, coming up with a plan on how to best support them throughout our days is very helpful. So with that, I also keep a mother's diary. Now, this mother's diary, this one I have is just a traveler's journal. I'm going to need a bigger one because we're having another child. But I have a little notebook in here for each of my children. So I do this at least every term, at the end of every term, and then over the summer when I'm planning for a new school year. From babies, toddlers, preschoolers, children in formal lessons, as well as myself, these are very, very helpful. So what is a mother's diary? So similar to the logbook is a really helpful tool in helping me fill out my mother's diary. So Charlotte Mason really encouraged mothers to take note of every area of growth that your child has improved in and developed in, and then also areas of work, but especially areas that you have seen a lot of improvement in. So that's what I log in my mother's diary. My husband and I will schedule what we call golden free days, where each of us gets just a day to ourselves to not have any other responsibilities other than taking time to contemplate and think and read, and maybe we go on a nature walk or we just take some time individually to have a break. So I really like to incorporate my mother's diary in that time. It helps me to pray for each of my children, take time to think about them as individuals, undistracted, and write things down. So A few areas that I note in my mother's diary, and this is inspired off of what Charlotte Mason says in her volumes Home Education and Parents and Children about a mother's thinking love, and just the practice and different areas that we get to help our children develop in. And as a baby, I like to write just developmental milestones, things like that, things that we're working on with them, or different personality things I see coming out, which is super fun. So I like to, for each child, go through a couple different areas. I will write down where they are at, like intellectually. How are they doing in our lesson time? Are they super excited to learn? What are they excited to learn about? Is there something they're having a hard time with? How are they paying attention? What are their interests? Things like that. So I will make note of those things. And then I'll write down spiritually how they're doing, and how they're doing when we sit in church together during our family Bible times. Cultivating the habits of reverence and prayer and getting in the Word and things like that. I will make a note of their spiritual walk and how I can pray for them. And just thank God for what He's doing and the unique call that He has on each of my children's lives. And I think this will be really fun to look back and see how that develops. I also write down anything physical. So like their physical development. Do I notice any allergies coming up, or have they grown a ton, or just physical things like that. And then emotional growth. How are they doing? How are we connecting as mother and child? Do they need something special from me? Do they need something specific from their dad? And what about our home culture, and how is that affecting them? So I make notes on that. And then I write down notes on habit training. So habits that they've really grown in that I've seen, and that includes like home habits, personal habits, hygiene, family, moral habits, things like that. What are they doing really well? What are some areas that we can work on together? And then how can I help support them in that growth? So this has been so beneficial, especially for my personal prayer life, in viewing each of my children as whole people, and then helping to address each aspect of their personhood as a mother. So Charlotte Mason talks about a mother teacher being a child's guide, philosopher, and friend. So maybe they need a new inspiring idea. Maybe I can take a note of an inspiring idea that's really captured them, and just be able to reflect on that and just celebrate growth, celebrate what God's doing in them, and then reflecting on how I can support them better as a mother. And then I get to come home from my golden day and my reflection time, and my husband and I discuss different things that I had been contemplating or notes that I had made. He will contribute to anything that we need to adjust, and it just is a really life-giving practice for our home. So do you do anything like this? I would encourage you to take some time to reflect on each of your children as individuals, especially during those times of planning where we can get caught up in the logistics and the curriculum and the books and the things, and we can kind of forget about the things that are immaterial. And so I just encourage you to celebrate that growth and just reflect on maybe some ways you can support your child in the other areas that need growing as they mature and develop in their education. All right, thanks for being here, and I will see you next time.